Zach Charbonnet will finish the year Seattle's running back number 1 and be a top 15 overall running back. Book it.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Guys on Sports. We're back, and this week we're talking about running backs. We're doing the NFC, and we're putting them in tiers. North, South, East, West. Rocky, Mark, Jay, how you guys doing?
We're doing good, man.
Yeah.
Good. Oklahoma City.
Right.
See, they just about closed the downtown today.
Did they?
Wow.
Yeah, their
Nice.
parade,
Wow,
biggest
whole 2
crowd.
blocks, huh?
Biggest crowd. I almost said something that would have got us demonetized.
Yeah, don't-
biggest crowd ever in the history of that city.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Did they, at the beginning of the parade, did Therese Halliburton go to come out, and then they were like, "Nope, you didn't win." And then OKC comes down the road, just like
Man.
you did with the Eastern
Oh,
Conference
that was-
Finals.
yeah,
That was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's good.
They didn't celebrate big.
Yeah.
Like
Who,
on the
OKC?
court after OKC won, they didn't really like, oh, yeah, we won.
What do you guys think about? Because, I'll be honest,
Wow.
I don't play dailies, but I thought about putting a bet on Halliburton getting injured in Game 7 because calf injuries, especially in the NBA, they almost they're misleading because everybody's like, oh, come on, get out there and play. It's just a calf injury.
No.
But the preponderance of people with calf injuries that end up with Achilles tear. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I looked at the betting odds. It was ridiculous that it was paying out. And like a schmuck, I didn't do it. He tore his Achilles. I feel bad for him because he's out there trying to win a championship.
But you were willing to bet on it.
I was willing to bet on it, but I didn't. But I
makes a
was
lot
willing to bet on it, and I
makes
would
a
have
lot of
won.
sense.
And I would have won a couple grand.
What makes no sense too is all the Achilles injuries this year, and these sneakers that they make nowadays are supposed to be like the best of the best for foot striking. And you look back in the 80s and 90s, these dudes wearing flat Converse shoes,
yeah.
flat
Yeah.
Nikes, never had any Achilles injuries. It's wild.
Kobe went back on the court and shot free throws with a torn Achilles.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
some people are just men, and some Halliburtons are just meant to fade away.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't like Halliburton, but I mean,
it's a terrible injury.
it's a bad injury.
Yeah.
It's
And he-
big.
especially
I think
the end of the
Achilles,
year.
They
He
come in
misses
different.
the entire season next
Yeah.
year and
Well, I'm
might
not
never
mad
be the
about
same.
that. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that either, actually.
And now
I
Boston's
didn't-
trading all their players, so
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I didn't feel as bad for him as I did Jason Tatum and also Kyrie Irving. Out of the three, I felt the least bad for Tyrese.
That says a
well,
lot.
you're just a bad guy. All right, so
I was supporting your Knicks, man, when I
I
started with the
don't need to
hatred of
support
him.
guys
right?
getting hurt.
He looks just like the skeleton that came before him with the whole choking crap.
That's true. I don't like him, but hey, we're just saying it says a lot about your character. So we'll start with our running back tiers in the NFC. We're gonna start with Rocky. Rocky, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
You ready to talk about some running backs?
You know what? This is a time of year we talked about it last
Yeah.
episode. It gets exciting, man.
gets a
You're
little
hearing a lot.
exciting.
Camps are starting to get in session. You're hearing little snippets everybody's got to take.
Camp talk.
But our take is right. That's where we separate
That's where
from
we
the
differ.
other. Yeah, we actually have knowledgeable takes. Now, we're hard to trade with, this guy being king of all, but we know what we're talking about. And so I get to cover the NFC South. And I love this division as far as running backs. I think, honestly, starting running backs, this could be the best division top to bottom in the NFL. So I'm going to start with my S, no question. And remember our tiering? S is elite. A is, what was it?
Sub-elite.
Sub-elite.
you remember it, but
below,
I don't.
I can read it for you.
below elite. Yeah, why don't you read it for the listeners?
For the listeners, yeah.
B is further sub-elite. It's sub-sub-elite.
I have C as
The
common.
more specific way that we put it, I think, is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the updated one that you had.
It was S is elite. The first or second round pick, you could build your team around. Hard to survive losing. You need their handcuff. A is the same as S, but missing the track record, or is getting older, or accumulative injuries,
Nailed it.
or situational issues. So basically, an S tier running back with a little chink in their armor. A B is solid production, high
what in
floor,
their
low
armor?
ceiling. Week to week can fluctuate without TDs, but overall can be trusted season long. C is unproven potential or proven to lack potential, unreliable but can be streaky and get you through bye weeks and injuries if needed. D is bad players or average players in bad situations, whether depth chart, age, or injury not good enough to overcome, can be stashed for depth or handcuff and played if absolutely needed. And F is shouldn't be rostered even if they seem like they should.
All right,
I
there
think
you go.
I think you play a gong sound during that take. I think
Well,
they
I mean-
cancel us completely.
Why?
It was your
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, it was a lot of words.
Took
but
the time to write it.
It was your
Yeah.
description.
Took the
of
time to write it,
Yeah,
right?
but we
Chink,
get-
did you?
I forgot to write
Did
down.
you?
Little
Can you
chink in
repeat
the
it?
armor. You gonna listen? Little chink in the armor.
Oh, now you just made it a thing.
Well, no, you made it a thing. I'm just repeating.
You're an idiot.
Well, I would say this. Let's just start with the S's. And to
Gotta love
me,
edits.
there are clear-cut 2 S's in this division, possibly 3. Number 1, no surprise, chalk take. Bijan Robinson, the guy he finished number 3 last year. What I love about him is you're not only getting yards on the ground, 1,456 with a 4.8 yard average, but you're also getting almost 500 yards through the air with 61 receptions, total 15 touchdowns. This is a guy that you rinse and repeat. You don't even think about. You take him and you put him in your lineup, and nothing about him suggests that he's due for any kind of regression or anything. The guy's a stud. He's only 2 years in the league. It's clear.
You know, and there's always a learning curve too, right? When you bring in a new guy into the helm. So I mean, they have a fresh Penix in Atlanta, and you know it takes a little bit of time for that Penix to mature, and because of that, you have to rely heavily on your running back. And who better to do that than Bijan Robinson, who finished, I think you said 3rd overall, right, in fantasy points for running backs.
Yep, 20.1.
There's zero reason why he should not be the first running back off of your board this year.
Yeah. Second, I'm gonna stick with this take, and I know it could be slightly controversial, but there is no reason I couldn't, in good faith, not put Alvin Kamara as an S this year. Alvin Kamara finished 5th among running backs last year with 19 points a game. He had less on the ground, only 950 yards, but still a very strong 4.2 yard average. And he followed up a 75 reception season with 68 for over 500 yards, 8 touchdowns. To me, he is the clear number 1, of course, in New Orleans, and isn't getting pushed from behind from anybody that we even know has any real quality. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think Kamara is an S.
I would say the only two cautionary tales with Alvin Kamara is the impending legal
Yep.
actions to be taken against him, where he might miss a little bit of time. And then the other is, you know, what are they doing at quarterback, and is he going to get the same amount of targets from that quarterback? Which will be
You are right about that. Yeah.
because if I remember correctly, Alvin Kamara has never rushed for over 1,000 yards, but he has hit somewhere between 1,300 and 1,600 all-purpose yards.
Yes.
Pretty much every season that he's been in the league, because a large portion of his game is as a receiving back.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats, and you're right about that, because I think that they're going to go right with Tyler Shuck. I think he's going to be the opening day starter. And normally I would say that helps a running back because he's going to check down and get the easy passes to his tight ends and his running backs. But I find it hard to believe that Alvin's going to catch more than 70 receptions this year. It's unreal. So, but he might be used more in the actual running game and top 1,000. My concern is the litigation, and the other one is he's not a youngster anymore. He's not old, but he's not a youngster.
I would say out of all the receiving backs, the one thing too that makes me a little hesitant with his receptions is not all of his receptions are checkdowns. He runs complex routes as a running back.
Yeah.
A lot of what he ran was, you know, like middle cut ins, you know, the fake to the outside, slant to the middle. He ran a decent amount of actual routes, not just checkdowns or screens.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this rookie quarterback pans out for them.
Yeah, and I am I'm pretty high on Tyler Shuck. I actually wanted the Browns to draft him. He went higher than I thought he would, so I understood why they didn't. But I do think he's capable. I think he's a capable quarterback.
I think Cleveland drafted every other quarterback in the draft.
I don't listen. When you are desperate for water, you open that hose all the ways, So anyways, third running back we'll talk about, and then I'll kind of go back and talk about some of the backup running backs. Bucky Irving. I put Bucky Irving as an A, but I think he could achieve S status this year. I put him as an A because we don't have a big enough track record yet. But when he started warming up, because if you remember at the start of the season, he was a complimentary back. And then about game 2 and 3, he really started taking over. This is a guy who had 1,121 yards, 5.4 yard average, 47 receptions, 400 yards, 8 touchdowns, but only finished number 19 out of running backs. And so to me, if he repeats that and I had him, I'd be really pleased, but that would take him right to that A level, a little bit under S. If they give him the ball and use him as a bell cow back, I think he could, in fact, be an S. What do you guys feel?
Nobody feels anything?
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll move on then.
I concur.
Last, and this is the most complex situation, is what's happening in Carolina. You've got Chuba, or Chuba, however you want to say it. He had a really good season last year, finished as running back number 13 with 16 points, 1,200 yards, 4.8 yard average, 43 receptions, and 11 touchdowns. And to be honest, he followed up a year previous where he was pretty good too, especially down the stretch. I like him. What makes this less clear is Rico Dowdle. He also had a great year in 2024. He enters that backfield. I do feel like it's going to be more of a timeshare. Think Tennessee without Derrick Henry. And so because of that, I put Chuba as a B and Rico as a B. And I would say if there's an injury, one of them could almost immediately become an A. But for right now, I feel more comfortable as a B.
Well, they both look like the same dude. They
Yeah.
look like they're very interchangeable.
Yep.
So that worries me that they're just going to play the hot hand there. And then you have the ETN kid, the younger brother of Travis, who's very talented.
Yeah, and they're saying good things about him.
And then you're going to get, I don't want any part of this backfield next year because then you get Jonathan Brooks back too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Although he might not ever be the back they thought he was.
Very true.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit real quickly about the backups. Tyler Algiers, I think, is one of the best backup running backs in the entire league. And when he had full use of the backfield, had over 1,000 yard, almost 5 yard average, 16 receptions, but only 4 touchdowns. I rate him as somebody you got to pick up. I think he's a C. And if Bijan went down, it could be a beautiful ending for the person who picked him up. I like Rashad White. We've talked about him. I don't think he's a great running back. I do think he's a great receiver. Proved that again last year, 51 receptions, following up seasons where he had 64 and 50, 9 touchdowns twice. Last year, as a true backup, finished number 23 in fantasy points. So to me, Rashad is a B. He's a B with potential to be an A if Bucky got hurt. And then the great unknown, Kendra Miller. We don't really have any stats, any idea. People were high in him coming out of college. But right now, I think you have to give him the rating of a D, unless you start feeling like something's going on.
I don't think he's even going to make. I don't think he's going to break camp with the team. He was in the doghouse for a good portion of the season last year,
And they drafted
went out,
a back.
They drafted that Devin Neal.
Yeah,
So-
and Devin Neal is a talented back.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's the NFC South. It's an exciting, I think, division and full of great running backs.
Got a message.
Yeah, I do. Probably from you. Probably telling me to hurry up.
Hurry up, maybe. No, I would never. Hey, Jay, how you feeling?
I'm all right.
Doing good? You ready to talk some running back? Some
I'm
Arby's?
ready to go.
All
I got
right,
the
who you
West.
got the West?
I got the West.
Got the West.
I like the West. I think most of the divisions have really good running backs. I'm going to start with Arizona, James Conner, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He catches 44 passes, but I do like Benson as a great handicap. He had 290 with 1 touchdown, but he had a good average per rush. I think Connors slows down a little bit. He has 30. I think they would like to run back with Benson. I would rate him as a B, just based on I just think he's not going to be able to. Because when he got his 1,000 yards, it was barely 1,000 yards. He didn't dominate any of those seasons.
I did see a stat about Connor. I think Connor's like the poster boy for a high floor guy. I think the stat was like the last 5 or 6 seasons. I could be wrong. I think he's averaging like 15 to 16 fantasy points a game.
Yeah, he's
he's
literally put up these same
just
numbers
the guy that
every year.
There's just, we all play fantasy, we all look at numbers, but there's just guys, if you're just being honest, that you just don't ever feel confident playing. Right. Like I have Connor on the team, have 2 other guys. I'm trying to talk myself into playing somebody over Connor, but when you look at the numbers in that way, he's been consistent. Now, the age thing might be something, so I think that's something to consider.
I do have Connor on my fantasy team, and he did produce quite a bit. I had 3 great running backs, so it was tough to rotate him in. But I just think this year he could take a step back.
He's been in the league since 2017, so you're right. Like, this is starting to become an older back. But to your point, 15.9, 15.5, 15.4, 17.2, a 12.7 in only 13 games, 14.6, 21.2. The guy, like, the longevity is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which one did you call handicapped? Him or
Trey Benson?
Benson handicapped.
He meant handicap.
Handcuff.
Handcuff. He's handicapped.
Yeah. Benson is. You're right. He's a good. Like, I was excited about him coming out.
I think it'd be a great handicap.
Handicap.
Say what I say.
Say what I said.
Then I'll go with the Rams. You got Kyron Williams. I think he's an S. 1299 with 14 touchdowns. Their backup is Blake Corum. He had 0 touchdowns, and in college, he was the guy that you put on the goal line. He was the guy 2 yards in. Edwards was the burner. Blake was supposed to be the touchdown man. So the fact that he didn't even get a touchdown is kind of sad. They drafted another running back that'll probably overtake Blake. So I think this is Williams' clear number 1, clear way to get touchdowns. The Rams lost Cooper Kupp. I think they're going to try to change their identity with a higher age running back and quarterback.
There you go.
Damn you, seizures. So I think with the quarterback being a little bit older, Cooper Kupp being gone, I do think they'll rely on a younger, nice running back with Williams.
Yeah, hard to argue that point.
No bias, right?
Why would I have bias?
The Corum thing?
Michigan. We all know Michigan. Michigan sucks
Go blue.
beyond belief. You shut up.
Yeah.
Or the guy beside you will hit you.
Yeah.
I'll hit him back.
They knew the
I ain't
signs.
afraid.
For hating the color, you guys are wearing an awful lot of it. I'm just saying.
Kev.
In the championship game, they knew Washington's signs, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why they were able to get Edwards to run those big 2 runs, because that's all they had. They just knew
Slander.
the signs, allegedly.
But Corum coming out, everybody was excited about him. They were talking about how this guy could really do something.
I'm still excited.
It's just 1 year.
Terrible.
To be fair.
So
He looked average, very
the top
average.
2 backs last year landed in the worst spots. Trey Benson and Blake Corum. They both knew they were going to have to take back seats, and Connor did what Connor does. Like we're talking about, 16 fantasy points a game. There's no room there for Benson. And Kyron Williams, putting up closer to 20 points a game more than likely.
I agree with you, but then you got a defense that's not expecting Blake to get the ball, and the guy averaged 3.7 yards, and that's not good enough in the NFL. No. It just isn't.
Not.
He's also playing in a garbage time with backups.
The problem is he doesn't have somebody feeding the defensive signs to him. And so he doesn't know where to go.
Let's move on, guys. Let's stop egging this out.
I guarantee.
Michigan.
Here's my hot take. Blake Corum averages almost 7 yards a carry this year.
We don't give a damn about the whole state.
I think he goes even worse. He's not even going to be the number 2 running back by the end of the year. He's just trash.
Pile on.
Seattle, this is my hot take from earlier. Kenneth Walker, I do not believe he will end the season as the number 1. I don't think he's going to be even top 20. Once Charbonnet takes over, he'll be a top 15 running back. Charbonnet busted through because of the Kenneth Walker injury that he usually has with his legs. Charbonnet, what?
Got bad legs.
I like the way you say things. It's
Got bad
hysterical.
wheels. Bad wheels.
Well, in today's with the new shoes, you figure the shoes would help the feet.
Yeah,
would
you
think
figure,
so.
Yeah.
He had
Crazy.
4.2 yards of carry, 8 touchdowns. What are you snorting now?
I don't know.
I just think
The
Charbonnet
80s.
on TV, on paper, looks better than Kenneth, who will not be able to last injury-free through
He's
another
Kenneth
season.
now. He's not K9 anymore.
I mean, I think we got to give him the best. I think one of the best nicknames in the NFL, though. I love K9. I think it's a
he
great.
can't be K9 if he's not top 20.
So Kenneth will be a S tier.
He's back to Kenneth.
S tier. C tier.
That's
What, what's the frequency?
Zach will be a B tier by the end of the year.
okay.
That's fair. Actually, I don't dislike your take. I
He
think
loves your take,
Charbonnet.
actually.
He did say earlier it's the best take he's ever had.
Yeah, he did.
I do think that by the end of the year, I think
Whatever.
Charbonnet's pass catching abilities will have him take over RB1 duties. K9, we highlight it with a lot of different running backs that have similar style. Isaiah Pacheco being one. K9's a hard runner.
He is.
If you watch his games, I mean, this is a guy he runs not unsimilarly to Earl Campbell, who would just he would cross the field just to hit somebody.
Yeah, it's
if
an
he had a-
Earl
if he had a
Campbell,
clear path.
Marshawn Lynch to
It's
me
a
kind of guy.
Very volatile running style. It doesn't lend a hand to longevity. So I think K9 is definitely going to miss. Or sorry, Kenneth. I think Kenneth is going to miss
What's
time.
the frequency,
And,
Kenneth?
I'm going by his biblical name.
and Charbo is going to take over RB1 duties. You are right.
I mean, 9 touchdowns last year for Zach in a handcuff role until he K9 got hurt. Only 135 rushes, like you said, 4.2 yards and 42 receptions. Like the guy, if he was the running back one, I think we're probably talking about A or S.
Because there's 40 receptions with 300 more yards and a touchdown through that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a no-brainer to try to pick him up. Would you draft him with Kenneth late and then draft Charbonnet like immediately the next pick after so you have that handcuff?
I don't think you have to go immediately after. I think you can probably go a couple of rounds. But out of all the handcuffed backs in relevance to ADP with the starter, this is probably one of the closer margins.
Right. Because I think Kenneth will go pretty deep with not being drafted. So I think a lot of people are going to be high on Charbonnet. Like you love Charbonnet. And if he finishes above him, to me, they're the same running back, essentially. And combine them together with Kenneth probably going down because of his bad legs, I think it'll be a good combo.
Zach is rated at right now ADPs. He's at like 104 is where we're kind of seeing him go. So
Yeah, and K9's not much ahead of that either. I think the only other tandem that I can think of off the top of my head that has a smaller spread is probably Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason right now.
And this was a tough one. Christian McCaffrey. Love the guy. He seems like a good guy off the field. He's got all the potential that you would need in a running back. He can catch. He can block. He can run. Obviously, he's a running back. That's why they put him in that position.
he is a good running back.
He has been hurt 2020, 2021, 2024. They weren't just bounce back injuries. They weren't like bang ups. They were season ending. I think they have Isaiah Guardo.
Yeah.
He's the rookie. He did 420 yards with 5 yards of carry, but he did fumble 3 times. If Christian McCaffrey is healthy, which they claim he is going to be easily running back number 1.
Oof.
I just don't.
That might be the hot take.
of the team.
Oh, okay, no. Okay. I thought you meant in the NFL. I was like, wait a minute, that could be.
So I don't know where to put him in the tiers because Rocky loves to use he's got S tier talent,
That's called hedging your bets.
but he's got S tier ride to the ambulance. I'm going to go with a B.
Oof.
I do not believe he will go healthy
Yeah.
with the depleted offensive weapons that San Francisco will have this season. With them maybe not even coming back from injury healthy, I don't know if he's going to be able to be finishing in the top 10 like he should be.
CMC is a B tier, you said?
B,
Because of injury.
because of the injury.
Yeah,
If
I
he
know,
is
that's
a
healthy,
hot take.
if he's, I'm hot, baby. If he is healthy, S tier easily.
I think you also nonchalantly created another nickname too. Would you call him Isaac Gerardo? He will now be known as Rico Suave.
I think we've had a lot of trouble pronouncing his name because I think I got busted last
Why
year.
isn't there a lot of like?
I think it's
Rico.
Isaac
Garendo.
Garendo.
Suave.
Can we
I
get a couple
swear I
more
said that.
Smiths or
Definitely say Gerardo.
There's
and you
not
said
Gerardo.
Why isn't there more Bills, Bruces?
Yeah. I know you were just trying to support your guy.
Gerardo? Yeah.
Anyway, he's a B
He's a
tier.
beast.
Book it.
He is forever known as Rico Suave to me now.
I like, this is a hard one for me. I actually traded for CMC in a couple of my leagues.
Oh, you messed up.
No, I traded at the end of the year when I could get him for next to nothing. Franchised him to lower what the Goob paid for him the year before, hoping that there's any kind of rebound. Because if there's a rebound, like when you look at when he plays 16 games,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Lights out.
yeah, I mean, it's 24 points, 21, 30, 18 being a down year, 29. I mean, the guy is just an absolute stud. But he's 29. He's been injured in 3 out of the last 5 seasons. You're right. Like, it's a scary thing. I did it because I'm betting on that upside.
Here's the difference with last year's injury. Last year's injury was precaution.
Soft tissue.
They did not want to run him out there like they had in seasons prior where he did sustain a significant injury. I think last year they gave him proper and ample healing time, and I think this is the year that he gets back to being
That's the hope.
the Christian McCaffrey that we all know and love.
That is the hope if you have him, like you do. Good. All right, guys, that's the show. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when we put up new content. Follow us on all your socials at GON Podcast. Please show us some love, ask some questions, and take this journey with us through camp to the season. We love you.
Peace.